Welcome back to the channel, and I'm here today with the first video in the Squier Bullet Telecaster upgrade series. I actually wanted to start with the bridge, the tuners, and the neck, but that hasn't quite worked out yet, but it is all in progress. The Bullet Telecaster, and this is one reason I thought this would be good for the video, it being the cheapest real Telecaster that's full size, does not necessarily have identical specs on all of its parts as some of the other Squier Telecasters. So basically, this is a top loader. I had a, and still have, of course, an American Professional 2 bridge I've really been wanting to use on something because it's just a fantastic bridge. And the screw assembly on this side of things with the pickup and how it attaches here is the same. But this bridge, and I'm guessing because it's a top loader, though there is the option, that's one reason I want to use the American Professional 2, you can either top load it or go string through if the guitar is drilled for string through. But this is longer, from about, say, roughly here down, so the screw holes would not line up. So that idea was out. I got some American Standard tuning machines. They have the 2 guide hole posts, but unfortunately they were not the same size, and I'll make a little video about that I'll pop in here. So anyway, I wanted to finish up with the pickups, but instead we are going to start upgrading this bridge pickup. I think this is a ceramic man traditional style pickup, and what we're going to put in its place, the DiMarzio, a lot of glare there, Chopper T. This is a dual rail ceramic magnet pickup. I'm very familiar with that. For over 20 years, the bridge pickup in my main guitar, my black Telecaster, is a Seymour Duncan Hot Rails, which is the same design. And I have Joe Barden pickups in another Telecaster style guitar, which is similar to what Bruce Springsteen uses, the famous Danny Gatton model pickups. So what are the advantages of this? It is hum canceling. This is a small humbucker. It will fit directly, should fit directly in there. I've not tried it yet, obviously. With no routing or modifying the body. Should just disconnect this, solder this in, should be good. So to tell you a little bit about this pickup, and I'm looking at the DiMarzio website right now. I believe the resistance is 9.1, which that's not the only indicator in how hot a pickup is. But so it should not be as hot as the Hot Rail Seymour Duncan, which is something like 17 or 18. I have to look it up. There'll be another video more in depth about that comparison in the future, hopefully. But it is hotter than a traditional Telecaster bridge pickup, which would typically be in the 7 to 8 range. But again, this one is not bad at all. If you saw my first video about this, for the price, I think it's everything you could hope for in that price point. But that's not what we're looking for here. We're looking to see how we can upgrade this guitar to make it compete with a higher end Telecaster without breaking the budget. So this pickup, I bought it at the local Pied Piper music store in Charleston, West Virginia for $90. They had it in the shelf. It was one of the ones I was looking for, and I decided to go with it. I had been thinking about putting even more expensive boutique pickups in it, but I think I'm going to save that for another guitar. I haven't made up my mind yet, but hint, hint, I might be replacing the bridge pickup of the Ventera Telecaster Custom. Something that might be a worthy complement to the authentic Kunafe neck pickup. But anyway, as I was saying, I'll read from the DiMarzio site. The Chopper T bridge is the louder, punchier brother of the Fast Track T. More power is concentrated in the mids and the low end for a bigger sound with more crunch. It shares the same side-by-side coils and twin blade construction as the Fast Track T, so there is no string alignment or magnetic pull problems, and of course there's no noise. In their little EQ chart here, they have on a scale of 1 to 10 the bass at 4, low mids 5, high mids 5, and treble 4. which that's another small difference, even though it's a little higher in the mid-range. The Seymour Duncan hot rails, the mids, if you look at their chart, it is almost maxes out the chart. So what I'll do is I will get this thing opened up and we will install this pickup. Again, typically I just install them because even though I've installed many pickups in my day, I don't claim to be an expert and I don't want anyone to mistake this for a how-to video. But since one thing of interest would be what this looks like on the inside, and I have not looked at the inside of it yet, that might be interesting. And also another thing, I have not decided in the future, I will inevitably replace the controls. And I'll see, and rather than go off the top of my head, but as most of you know, whether you have 250K or 500K pots can change the sound of a pickup, especially a hotter pickup that's a humbucker in essence. So this is still from the DiMarzio site. Not exactly the traditional Tele bridge sound. The Chopper T has less twang and more chunk. This makes for a solid blues sound. 250K controls, the usual value on most Tele guitars, will produce a warm sound without much high-end bite. 500K controls will open the top end up more and brighten up the low strings as well. I will probably eventually put nicer 500K pots in this guitar, but that will be another video, because if you saw my first one, that's probably the worst part of the guitar are the pots. Like I said, this one, even the knob even kind of grinds when you turn it. But I think that would be an excellent comparison to see for a pickup like this what going from 250 to 500 would do. But for right now, I will just be installing this. We'll take a look inside to see what we have, and then we'll come back and see what it sounds like. Okay, here is something to keep in mind if you're wanting to upgrade the tuners on the Squier Bullet. This is the actual stock tuner. I'm just trying to do this watching it on the camera, so I'm just a little bit off, but you can see these two guide holes, which is a common thing on a lot of Fender necks. This is a Fender American standard tuning machine. As you can see, it won't fit because even though it has the guideposts, they would line up roughly there, and it just doesn't match with the hole for the post to go through. So keep that in mind. Okay, we have the bridge off. You can see the ground wire here. Part of the beauty of the Telecaster design is that that wire just comes up through the body and the bridge goes on top of it. Here we have the pickup we'll be replacing. See what it looks like on the underside here. Quite frankly, fairly inexpensive magnets, but it got the job done. Base plate. And you can see inside, nothing wrong with it. Maybe not the cleanest work. That's the type of thing that if you had a more expensive guitar, you would want to be cleaner, but you never see in there. It is a bit rough, but for $200 full retail, what do you expect? But you can see the screw hole pattern there. That's just the outline of where the bridge is pressed into the body. So that is important to know that that's just not like a dust line. That is an impression in the body. Now, in the control cavity, we can see these are in fact the little alpha pots, alpha switch, made in Korea. Honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed because though the alpha pots aren't expensive, not that any pots are really expensive, typically the alpha branded ones are a little bit better. Now the full-size ones are definitely better, but these are just the tiny ones. You see the wiring. The solder works not the greatest, and I'm not the best solderer in the world myself, so you can see in the cavity that looks like and feels like shielding paint. That's not that big a deal, quite frankly, in my opinion, one way or the other. But what we will do, and they see made in Korea, is good thing is Telecasters are my favorite guitars to do this with, in addition to generally being my favorite guitars, period, because they're so simple. So we will get this pickup out and put the chopper T in. Here's the chopper T. I wanted to note something really quick. When I opened it up, I had never seen this before. Basically, it appears that there is a quick connect type system that connects the wiring to the pickup. Now, the other side of the pickup, and I'll read the directions first, I'm assuming you just strip that wire and make the necessary connections, but typically, every DiMarzio pickup and other pickup I've had in the past, you solder that on, so I think that's interesting, but we'll soon see how it works. Okay, later in the same evening, the pickup is installed. Wasn't too bad. I wish that they used the cloth wire instead of the enamel wire, because that cloth pushback wire just seems nicer and is easier to work with in my opinion, but it's installed. We're getting ready to hear the bridge pickup for the first time. I have used the tap test to make sure that it works. We're on the neck pickup at the moment just to show that the and of course these strings just got put back on, so it's not staying in tune the best at this very moment, but I was eager to make sure that it works. So that was the neck pickup, just to make sure there's sound coming out of the amp. Go to the bridge. Yep, it works. And I have the pickup height adjusted about where I like it. So just, here's an A chord. I know it's out of tune. Please don't comment it's out of tune. I know this. Now, the other thing I'm interested to see if it is in phase with the neck pickup. And it is. That is a pleasant surprise because I didn't think it was going to be. Based upon the DiMarzio literature. So what I'm going to do is get this guitar fixed up, because as you may have noticed, it's a Keith Richards style guitar at the moment, because I had the tuning machine off for the low E string to see if I had something that fit. So I will get that back in there. And now I will play some blind sound samples, simply comparing the original pickup to this pickup. And when we come back, you can try to guess which is which, though I think it will probably be easy. And we are back. So those sound samples were recorded with a short SM57 into an audio interface directly into the recording software. So, final guesses before the big reveal. Pickup A was the stock pickup. Pickup B was the DiMarzio Chopper T, which I think definitely had a little more output and punch, but maybe wasn't as big a difference as I thought it was going to be. And also, though I'd definitely like to hear what it sounds like with 500K pots, it still has a lot of bite with these 250K pots. This is a Marshall DSL1 head. It's going through into a Black Star 2x12, treble and mids on about 6, bass on about 5, mic with the SM57. Pretty bright. And we'll kick on the full drive 2. And let me say really quick too, if you saw my first video, the issues with that high fret here are popping up again, and this neck has definitely moved in the time that I've had it. So I talked about, I don't know if it's because the satin finish is extremely light. Those are definitely issues, so it's already going out of tune a little bit, even though I tuned it up right before I got started. But the good news is the next video will hopefully be me putting on the neck just off camera I'm looking at that just needs a little bit more work. But just so you know, that is affecting playability a little bit and tuning. But the way it's set up at the moment, I just got to kind of keep on rolling here. So we'll kick the full drive off and the tumnus on. See what that does. Nice sound. Now kick them both on just to see. So, for 90 bucks, I think that is a worthy upgrade. It is, in terms of 60 cycle hum, it has the benefit of being noiseless, and it's just a good sound. I might adjust it a little bit. So, for those of you who might be keeping track, that takes the grand total for this project, not counting tax or shipping or anything like that, to $220. So this guitar is $220 as it is right now. It's $130 for the guitar. brand new from Musician's Friend. I think it's on sale for like $175 at this very second I'm recording this, like 5 or 10% off for members, and $90 for the pickup. I think for $90, keeping in mind that prices have gone up on pretty much everything guitar related, as with most things in life the last few years, I think that is it's a good pickup. Looks good too. I always like the dual rail design. I know some people are split on that, but I like the look of it. So hopefully soon you will be seeing the upgrade video for the neck. We can probably then get a better idea of exactly what this pickup can do, because quite frankly, there's some, and then you hear the other thing, cheap jack, which needs change too. There's some things I just can't play that effectively at the moment, because, well, let me see if I can show. See, that's just me playing a D note right there, and it's fretting out. And I thought I had fixed that, but the problem is rearing its ugly head again. I think even another fret's getting high. So, again, these are upgrades that this guitar needs, but the question will be, will it be worth the time and money compared to what a much nicer guitar out of the box would be? So please continue to join me on this journey as we find the answer. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, keep on rocking.